On a recent video, a couple of friends of the channel were talking about how it seems that we are not living in reality anymore. Things are just so strange, and the news headlines we see are so absurd, we have to ask, is this really happening? But if we objectively look at what has happened in recent years, as far as things seeming different, we would probably acknowledge that Donald Trump is patient zero in the distortion of reality. He has single-handedly warped the truth to such an extent and done so repeatedly that the last decade has aptly been called the post-truth era. And that is the power in what he says and does. It's not that he's fooling everyone about everything. It's that his lies are believed by just enough people to distort the perception of what is truth and what is a lie. He can say things like there's no crime in D.C. since he sent the troops in, and while many people know that that is an absurd lie, nevertheless he's able to push reality toward that being accepted as the truth because he's given so much latitude in what he says. Any lies or exaggerations or other nonsense that comes out of his mouth is excused as just Trump being Trump. But he is actually pushing our perception of reality in the direction that he wants, which does serve his purpose. The more difficult it becomes for many people to distinguish what is true from what is false, the stronger Trump and his hardcore supporters become. Because in the end, it's all about gaining power. It doesn't matter to these people what is true or what is right. It's about warping reality to the point where a vile man such as Donald Trump is perceived as standing up for truth and justice and the American way, while in reality, Donald Trump is standing up for Donald Trump. But beyond this chaos magic of Donald Trump, there is also this other dark force that is with us during these last days. And there may be no better example of this dark force in action than what we see on social media, where gossip and lies and conspiracy theories all merge into this entity to take on a life of its own. It's all designed to make the truth harder to decipher, to make reality itself seem unreal. And this dark force behind the scenes also has its hands involved in the media, as both the far left and the far right are constantly spreading things that are not true in order to try and change the narrative on what's really happening. We have one side telling us how Trump is getting weaker by the day and that his base is ready to leave him, while the other side is telling us that nothing Trump does is wrong, that he's fighting the so-called deep state for the good of us all. Neither one of these alternate realities are actually true. They are trying to manifest into existence their own version of reality, and to do that, they have to add deception in order to mask the truth. And when we participate in the extremes of the media, we are helping to feed that dark force behind the scenes. So it is my firm belief that when we use social media or any news source from the media, we have to stay away from the far left and the far right, because that is where truth loses its value. It's all about pushing a narrative more than giving us 100% facts. That's not to say, of course, that gravitating towards the middle means that we're always going to get the truth, but rather that we have a better chance at seeing and understanding what is really going on. But while getting our news from sources that are more objective rather than the far left or the far right can be a great first step into our seeing reality for what it is, it's also true that many news stories nowadays almost seem too crazy to believe, and they happen every single day. This is why grounding ourselves in the Bible is so important. If we do that, we can understand that in the last days, which are upon us right now, there will be many chaotic things going on. We are in the midst of seeing different end-time figures come into power, such as the Antichrist, the false prophet, the 10 horns, and along with them we see a new world order forming in front of our very eyes. There are to be wars and rumors of wars, and diseases and famines and all kinds of terrible things going on. These must happen first. But after the tribulation of these days, we will see the return of Jesus Christ. But until that day happens, we have to stop feeding the dark force behind the scenes. We cannot fight lies and gossip and innuendo with more lies and gossip and innuendo. We have to find a way to grasp onto the truth. And in case you're wondering where to begin grasping onto the truth, the Bible gives us that answer in John 17:17. Sanctify them with thy truth, thy word is truth. This coming week, I will start to work on some of the backlogged videos from over the past few years, which will include the videos on Palantir, the Beast with Seven Heads Part 4, the Sound of Freedom video, which I started about a year ago, the connection between Rome and America, the False Prophet Part 2 video, and even a second playlist for the Trump Jukebox. Now, each of those videos will probably take about a week to wrap up because this is basically a one-man show, but thanks again for your patience with that. And if you know of any other video you would like to see me follow up on, please let me know in the comments below and I'll make a special note to add that to the list. Thank you for watching, and as a quick reminder, please do not use profanity in the comments, because if you do, they're probably not going to show up. So just to let you know. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.